Good morning and welcome back to iPunt Smart. Today we're racing at Greyville and tomorrow is Greyville Poly. So today Greyville on the grass. We start off with the first race and not a lot to go by. Bit of a tough encounter here. If I look at the machine learning, then some very weird Royal Virtue at 36-1 and Celestial Magma at 30-1 popping up as the top two. An opening shower at 12-1, and then the greeny extract at 16-1. And if I look at T curve, then it changes to extract, global glory, Tushvir, opening shower, celestial magma. So a bit of a mixed bag this. If I look at P stats, then of the three P stats we've had in the Greyville 1000 meters class F grass, 67% or 2 out of 3 was won by the overall ranking. And green points and exotic ranking, and total T curve, all of those belong to extract. And then 67% also to super rule percentage, which is global glory and opening shower. So a bit of an interesting race here. I can't put my head around it. Yadav Singh has only got the one race entered for the day, and he's got two in this race, LJ Ferraris and Nikki Patel. And on that 1000 Greyville run, he didn't do all that well, 10 lengths behind the winner on the 13th of December. You can see Global Glory on the same weight was 3.45 behind the winner, so 6.5 lengths difference. And then there was a couple others that was also thereabouts. All of them not all that great. So that 13th of December run does pop up all over the place. 13 lengths, 7 lengths, 12 lengths, 9 lengths, 19 lengths. I think Tushvirish needs a lot. But you can see the improvement from 19 into 6 by Yadav Singh, and also from 10 into 4 by Yadav Singh. And LJ Ferraris takes the ride for Yadav Singh, and he's got a 50% to place record with the trainer, which is quite comforting. Nikki Patel has got nothing with the trainer. So I think of the two Yadav Singh runners, Extract is probably the one that's going to be better. And I'm hoping for a top 3 at 2-1 or top 4 at 86%. On Extract, but there's not a whole lot to go by on this run. This improvement on the 1800 Scottsville run on the 20th, you can see his 58.47 adjusted time was decent, and that's why it was the best adjusted time in the field. And then we have Crimson Causeway. That's an only runner for Gavin van Zyl. And Warren Kennedy and Gavin van Zyl could also be having a really good day. Give me the green light, Sire, Scarlet Causeway Dam, and Giants Causeway Dam Sire. So any support on Giant Crimson Causeway could also be a good thing. So I'm going to leave that out. Gavin van Zyl could be on a double on the first two races with Crimson Causeway, with Gavin van Zyl and Warren Kennedy as the favorite, followed by Mystic Master with Gavin van Zyl and Anton Marcus. And in this race, I really think the 8 Mystic Master, the 5 Master George, and the 14 Mystery Boy is the only 3 that should win this. If you look at the race's ranking averages, 2.96 for Mystic Master, 3.21 for Master George, and then quite a gap to 4.96 for Mystery Boy, and then even a bigger gap to 5.43 for Origami, the next best from Lizanne Forbes and Serena Moodley, best statistical form and intent, and Bumroll 168. So in this race, there is very little between Mystic Master at 2.5 and Master George at 5.65. In fact, on the last time that these two guys met, Master George ran second on the Greyville 1600 grass at 0.05, and Mystic Master ran fourth, 0.7, so only 0.65 between the two. Mystic Master get a kilogram less today, and also gets blinkers fitted today. So my slight concern here is that the blinkers didn't work on debut, finishing 9th with a 5.3 bat, and now the blinkers are back over 1800 meters. So I think from a place perspective, Master George is probably the better price prospect. So I'm sort of in agreement here with the Artificial Intelligence 79, 0.79, followed by Mystic Master 0.67, and then 0.49 to Mystery Boy, Bohemian Lad 0.43. I see Dark Fate is now also a scratching. So yeah, I think the top three, Master George, Mystic Master, and Mystery Boy, is the correct ones here. Moving on, and here we can again have a Gavin Van Zyl, Warren Kennedy top rated, Shastina with Gavin Van Zyl and Warren Kennedy as the first choice, but in saying that, a very weak first choice. I don't know if he is going to last the 1900 meters. He seemed to have improved from 17 to 16. He went to 16.68 on the 17, and then the Fillies and Mares 69 debut on the 16 improved to a 2.17. So now he's going up to the 19th. So if that trend is to follow, then the 19th could be too far for him. And then something like Bell Jar, that's ran third on the 1900 on the Greyville Poly and has 2/4 on the 1600 grass. He could be one of the ones to pick up the pieces. And I quite like a 22-1 here. Altogether lovely. Now, interesting that his only grass, 1400 grass, was on a Devo. I'm not quite sure what that Devo means, but it's not a maiden plate. He did win on the third time of asking and the first time when going over distance. You can see he did the 14 and the 12. He was absolutely nothing and absolutely nothing. Then our master Keegan the Mielo got on board, and Keegan the Mielo is interested again today. So Keegan's first time he got on board, he won on a 1800 Greyville Poly. And then the second time Keegan the Mielo got on board, there was a bit of support from 16 into 15, but he was nowhere. He only finished 13th. So Keegan the Mielo is giving another chance, and he's now fallen by 5 merit rated points from a 82 to a 77. So altogether lovely. At 22-1 is a little bit of a horse of interest for me as well. That I'm definitely going to put in the pick 6 at 22-1. Is always a nice start. Yesterday we had our fourth choice with the Secrets of Maya that threw everyone out the pick 6 from 1.27 million tickets down to 30,000 tickets in one leg. But yeah, it was our fourth choice, and we had him in the bipod and the PA, and also of course in the pick 6. So we do have all of these huge upsets sometimes popping up, and this is one of them. Altogether lovely at 22-1 could be. Just to show you what I mean, in the third race, my JTR detail sheet here shows me very, very, very little between one another. So we have Shastina 4.35. Then we have 4.6 for Bell Jar. Then we have 4.68 for Altogether Lovely. And then we have 4.73 for Mama Pajama. So all of those is extremely close to actually being the best. So I can't think that we can do anything on the nose here, because from 4.35 to 4.68 is only 0.33 between the top four, and it doesn't stop there, because the next one is 4.73 then on a ranking average, and then the next one is a 5.3 for Keep On Dancing. So very, very close together for those first 6 runners. And you can see that with our exotics that I've gone wide here. I've gone 14, 12, 7, 3 and 1 in my bipot and PA, and then I've added 5, 13 and 14 in my pick 6. The 5 in Jest, the 13 Fire Fairy, and the 14, oh sorry, that's wrong, that must be, let's see there again, 5, that's the 1, and then the 6th rated is in Jest, and the 7th rated is Fire Fairy, the 13, and then the 8th rated is a 4, sorry, apologies, that's not a 14, that's a 4. I will make a note to just fix that, not 14, but 4 in the brackets on the first leg, so that 14 will be changed to a 4. So a little bit of an open race. Moving on, I think Shastina's got a better chance if Gavin van Salen and Marcus wins with Mystic Master, or if Gavin van Sale on this favourite year on debut with Crimson Causeway, we could be looking at 3 winners from Gavin van Sale in the first 3 races even. But time will tell. Race 4, and here we have quite small gaps yet again, 3.36 to 3.71 to 4.31 to 4.56. So full blast here, the top rated, ranking average of 3.36. Michael Miller, Ashton Harris, 22 to 1 best greenie points, best median speed, 25% chance to win on that. And then best bat curve, 33% chance to win on that. So interesting little first choice. And his debut on the grass, when he was going over a little bit more ground, 1200 grass on the maiden, produced a 4.35 on the bat. The only one better than that 4.35 on the bat is Jack's Bird. The difference being that Jack's Bird's best bat figures is all on poly. If you look at these bat figures here, grey, that's all the grass, so that's 22, 11, 21, 21. That was old form, that's back in 2019. And then he goes to poly and he goes in much better 5.35. Then he goes on the grass in the SAF G and he only does it 21 lengths. Then his best run on the 1200 fillies and mares 99 is a 578 on the 1200. Goes back on the poly, he's on a 6, and then he goes off the boil here on the poly with Marcus on board, so probably pulled 11.49, and then his next 1600 Hewitson on board wins, so that's clearly a setup, and 3.18, but that 3.18 was in Greyville poly, so I don't know if he can do that 3 lengths bats on the grass, and therefore the 22 to 1 on full blast looks a little bit more appealing because he's done his 4.35 on the grass. But as I say, very little separating the ranking averages of these runners, and the next best is Fight Song with Gareth van Sale and Warren Kennedy in 3rd rated. The grass runs again not as particularly good, 14 and 19. Well, none of his runs are actually particularly that good, 11, 14, 19, 13. And then Shove Out is the 4th choice, and yeah, he was thought to be good enough to go to the 1600 in Gans. Clearly 25, he was a bit out of his depth, started at 25, drifted to 55, but a little bit of appeal here for Lyle Hewitson coming back on him again. They clearly think a bit more of him. He did win on the slightly lower distance, the 1500, so he goes a little bit less on the 1400 today. And Shove Out with Lyle Hewitson back. He's probably going to be a trier, but you can see his bat figures is not as good as my 22 to 1 full blast. So I hope we have a full blast. And then 5th choice, Tread Swiftly. And Tread Swiftly is perhaps the 2nd best suited on the grass. If I look at these 2 grass runs, 1400 Greyville, 1400 Greyville, Donovan Dillon was on him last time at a 10.81, which is the best exact course, being Greyville grass, in exact distance being 1400. Blue Bat 10.81 being the best in the field. So a bit of respect for Tread Swiftly at 5.65, to be quite honest with you. Um, so the algorithms are suggesting full blast Jack's Bird, fight song shove out, but I'd actually tread swiftly a little bit earlier in here. And also because Muscat has another top rated popping up shortly. I'll show you that now. Now, the fifth race produces another greenie where the artificial intelligence AI doesn't agree. You can see a 0.8, 80%, 0.76, 76%, 54 on Frank Lloyd White, 48 on Spidas Corner, the favorite. That's a seriously odds-on favorite now. But Brazil Nut only a 0.14. So the algorithms and the artificial intelligence slash machine learning is not in agreement. That being said, though, Brazil Nut is an interesting little runner. He is on the grass, and his other run on the grass wasn't all that great because it was seventh. But not being all that great doesn't, the seventh doesn't say that much. It's a bit better when you look at the bat figure of 8.98 on the 1400 Greyville. So considering that these others are all worse off on the bat figures, apart from Goliath Heron bat 9.99 prior to his little rest, and he's now got blinkers fitted as well. So if I look at that, then that 1400 Greyville 8.98 is pretty decent. And then considering he's got the best adjusted time, best exact distance, median speed, which was done on the 1200 Fairview Poly twice in a row, a 1709, and then very close to it, a 1713. So Brazil Nut at 10 to 1 is a little bit of a little bit of a nibble, if I may call it that. Second choice, then the best exact distance, exact course, Blue Bat 12.06 with Goff Puller and Lyle Hewitson. Here's Winter Chill as the second choice. And then Louis Goosen, very close behind him, also at 12.06 on the bat. So nothing separating the blue bat figures of Winter Chill and Bold Horizon. Winter Chill at 3.35, Bold Horizon at 10, and Ashton Harris retains the ride. He won on a 1200 Greyville merit rated 90 with a 59.58 adjusted time. He only gets 0.5, half a kilo more today. So that 59.58 is quite accurate, and considering Winter Chiller is a 59.05, but now carries 3.5 more, Bold Horizon must have some sort of a chance as well. And then Goliath Heron, Dennis Dryer's stable's coming a little bit into form, and he's done a gear change again. Yeah, he's now removed. First he had the pacifiers on, he removed the pacifiers. Now the blinkers are coming on again, and he's shown a little bit of signs over the 1200 at Scottsville that 9.86 and 8.83 bats is not all that bad. So 16 to 1, highest median speed in this field. He's the fourth choice in this race. So the fifth race, as I said, the ranking averages does support Brazil Nut, but the machine learning doesn't. Highest ranking average Brazil Nut 2.43, second best Winter Chill 3.5, 3.5. Third best is Bold Horizon at 4.03, and then the fourth best is Goliath Heron at 4.56. So yeah, the fact that Brazil Nut is also gelded, and the fact that Brazil Nut gets Warren Kennedy to take the ride does mean that he's probably worthwhile a little bit of a nibble. If you take his points, he's accumulated 86, and the second highest Winter Chill is 56, and then Bold Horizon 45, and the favorite at 1.85 only got to 36 points, which is not even half of Brazil Nut's points. So yeah, clearly I think there's a little bit more value to Brazil Nuts. Looking at the P stats, they're not all that great. Winter Chill, actually, the P stat that stands out, because we got course bat distance 12.06 at 100%, which means Bold Horizon is not bad either, because he's also got the 12.06. It's only decimal places between the two. Moving on, and this was the reason I said earlier why Peter Muscat must maybe be respected, because Peter Muscat does have, with his tread swiftly here, in the fourth, we go to the sixth, and he's got the top rated with Arthur Markets on board here. Who knows whether that's going to be reliable or not. But Deep Thought is the top rated here, 3.11 on the ranking average, and the closest to him is a 4.21, so a 1.1 difference on Wiz of Oz in second, with Vivid Jet very close to that in third on 4.32, and Late Night Live at 14-1 at 4.65. So Deep Thought, there's a bit of a gap from first to second, but if Deep Thought doesn't win it, then all of Wiz of Odds, Vivid Jet, and Late Night Live has similar chances here in this race. And I'll just quickly show you what I mean by that. In the sixth race, these ranking averages I quite like, because it means all of these rankings together. 3.11 here on Deep Thought, followed by a 4.32 here on 4.21 here on Wiz of Oz, and then a 4.32 here on Vivid Jet as an average, and then the next best is a 4.65 on Late Night Live. He's got a few low ones here. Bumroll Curve the best, Bumroll 168 and 84 the best, as well as the Batsies in second here. But clearly first on Bat Curve, first on Bat 168, Bat 84 days, 42 days, Bumroll Curve second, then also first on all of those, first on Super Rule percentage on T Curve, and first on opening betting, overall ranking, greenie points, and exotic ranking. But he's losing out on adjusted time being fourth, speed rating being 8th, and median speed being 8th, which is quite an important one. So yeah, I'm a bit worried that Marcus could not get the full potential out of him, let me put it that way. And then he follows it up with another Muscat. So Deep Thought is top rated here. And we follow that up with another Muscat as Traces, the top rated in the next race. Traces and Vinici. And in this race, race 7, which is a race I don't like because it's the last leg of the jackpot, there is quite a bit of a gap from the first two to the rest of the field, because Traces is at 2.55, Vinici is at 2.85, and then the next one is only at 4.4. which is hard to play, and Great Shark at 4.52. So I think the first two is potentially enough for the bipod. For the PA. The bipod's gone by now. 5-3, but I've gone 5-3-6-8, which is hard to play in Great Shark as well. Maybe 5-3 is enough. 5-3-6-8 in the pick 6 as well, with the bigger perm being called out cash, and Enjoy the View, and Filippo with Yoga's Governor, Lyle Lewittson teaming up 10-1, best stat form, best bat curve. So the 7 also popping up here on these EXP1 algorithms, the 7 here, which means Filippo popped up on bat curve. Bat curve is a consistency indicator for bat. In other words, over the whole course of the 8 months, that's the last, we only track the last 8 months. We provide you all the figures further than 8 months, but anything that's not in a color is not part of this bat curve figure. Everything that is in a color is part of this bat curve figure, which is the averages for consistency, which is a weighted average based on the number of days back we went versus against today. So what that simply says is that Filippo has got some consistent in him from here. You can see 7, 9, 6, 9, and 10 is the best consistency with Traces. The next best on his 16, 10, 2 and 1. And obviously the 2 and 1 is where we see a bit of interest, because he's improved tremendously of late with 2 winners in a row, 1 on Polly, 1 on Grass, and 1 on Donovan Dillon. So have respect for him to win again. Best exact distance, median speed to boot. Best blue bat, which is the 1000 Greyville course and distance. And then we move on to the last race of the day. And here, my first choice here is going to King's Crusade, which is machine learning second choice on 63, 69, the Bayou. But just for the penny, Nathan Coxon and Muzi Yeni is my second choice. Overall ranking, the highest year. Speed, super rule percentage, the highest year. And the exact course and distance, 8.56, the highest there. So he's my second choice. Third choice, Alison Wright and Serena Moodley at 20-1, yeah, with the best adjusted time. And a bit of a hidden bat figure of 9.85, which is down here on the 1400 Greyville Poly. You can see the Greyville Poly on that 9.85. There was a 12.43 on the 1600 Greyville Glass, but these last two 1400 Greyvilles was what it seems like too short with the 23 and the 15. So back on the 16, he could just get closer again for me today. So he's my third choice. Admiral's Guest, Mark Dixon and Ashton Aries, which has been riding well of late. He's my fourth choice. And then all the way up, Duncan Howells and Gumedi at 30-1 is my fifth choice, with the Bayou, the favorite, with Lafferty and Marcus, and also the Machine Learning's favorite and Artificial Intelligence favorite as the sixth choice. So I'm putting in a little bit of a conundrum here. The PA, clearly, because my top ranking average is King's Crusade at 3.54, and my second best is Just for the Penny at 5, and then my third best is Euphoric at 5.39, and then Admiral's Guest at 5.48. So could take a chance on King's Crusade here, I think, at that kind of price. Bit of an unknown on the 1600 meters though. He did try the 1600 down here. Didn't do all that bad, but the 18 bat, not all that great. But maybe that was because he wasn't all that good at the time. His most recent runs was one on grass and one on poly. 1200 poly, 6.47, and 1200 grass, a 0 bat. So judging on that, maybe the 1600 is going to be better suited for him today. Raymond Danielson can sit very quiet on a horse, and maybe that's what you need to pull the trigger over the last 200, 300, 400 meters with King's Crusade. Yeah, he's still learning. He's on his 7th run today, so a bit of an unknown quantity still, but he does pop up nice with median speed, greeny points, and all these red bomb rolls and bats. So take a chance on 5 and 3 on your PA. Other words, if you don't, then 5 and 3 and 7 and 13 is probably enough in your PA. But I'm also going to add the 10, 2, 12 and 11 in the last leg of my pick 6. So bit of an interesting race today. Maybe hedging is a little bit of a good idea. If I look at my JTR combo sheet, you can see this one stands out quite nicely with Carl Hewitson, Warren Kennedy with all the ones here. Then Danish Porsche and Danielson here was a 1-3-1-1. King's Crusade stands out quite nice, and that's the ranking average, the greeny points, the total, the bat 42 and the bat curve that we're showing here. And down here, potential double for Mystic Master and Shastina that I can see. Down here, interesting on Shavout. Down here, Michael Miller. A little bit of 1-2-1-1. Looks pretty decent on a 22-1 full blast shot. 7-1 for a top 3. And then Yadav Singh looks pretty decent here on the extract. And here's a potential double that I've told you about. Deep Thought, 3.11 is the best here, followed by Donovan Dillon to try and close the gap on Traces at 2.55. Another potential double here. A couple of interesting ones here as well. Opening Shower at 12-1, followed here by Altogether Lovely, which is also pretty decently ranked. 22-1. So interesting that Aries is not riding for Miller in the first race, and Aries has been doing so well for Miller recently. So I think Full Blast is maybe the first big attempt here at 22-1. Yeah, we've talked about this Mystic Master double with Shastina, and then clearly the better one of the golf pullers looks like Winter Chill here on the rankings. And then Doug Campbell here, Master George, looks like his best option of all his runners today. That's it, guys. All from me. Have a lovely day till tomorrow.